Hello everyone, and welcome back to third episode of Sherubtse Spotlight, a student-led podcast of Sherubtse College. And I'm Somchuki, and in today's episode, we are taking things beyond the borders. We are joined by one of our international students, Mr. Ben Rom, who has come from US to study here at Sherubtse College. We will talk about his journey, his experience in Bhutan, and how international students like him can contribute to Bhutan and his in this community. Let's start with something simple. How's your life in Gangneung treating you so far? Have you gotten used to the weather and the food?
Well, the thing about the weather is, it's the most mild weather. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. I like the extremes. I want it to be negative 40 Celsius. I want it to be positive Celsius. I want to sweat. I want to be cold. So because it's mild, eh, it's interesting, but not as much as I like. And then the food is fine. Lots of like chilies, like solu and stuff like this.
Yes.
The chilies are okay. I like chili. I really like chili. But you guys are like every day. I'm used to it now, but I like to tell people like ice cream. We all like ice cream, but sometimes ice cream every day you get tired of it. So now I try to avoid chilies instead, like Ize and all those. I just have bland food now. Unless I go somewhere like the mess, then I definitely have their whatever they got.
The first question is, can you tell us a little about yourself, where you're from, how you heard about Bhutan, and what made you choose Sherubtse College?
Okay, a little bit about myself. So my name's Brandon from the U.S. I'm from Florida, which is one of the states inside of the U.S., the most southern one, like the Samjuk Jonkar of Bhutan, but in America instead. It's really hot there with alligators, mosquitoes. Um, you said, how did I come to know about Bhutan? Well, I feel like I could ask the same question back. How do you know about the U.S.? You just kind of know, and then you're like, oh. In the same way, I just knew about Bhutan, and I just sent an application here, and they responded eventually. So then I came. It was just like this. I didn't, there was no, history beforehand. It seemed like an interesting place. I sent my application, and then that was it.
And why Sherubtse College you choose?
Now that's a good question. That's a good question. There's so many colleges here. There's RTC. Everybody says RTC. This is RTC. The College of Natural Resources, all this. But Sherubtse, it's not only the oldest, it's the biggest, right? The HM3, you went right over there near the SSV. We have a student area, and there's a big rock. He stood on that rock and he said, "This is where Sherubtse is going to be." I don't think he did that for RTC, right? I don't think he did that for like what is that called? That Jimmy Namgyal Engineering College. I don't think he did that for that. So this college is uniquely special, and it's not in a city, right? Ah, in the U.S. or other places, colleges are always in cities, but here it's right in a nice rural spot. There's two lakongs. It's perfect. It's the best in my mind. I'll say this for the camera. I think this is the best college in all of Bhutan. I stand on that. That's a hill I'll die on. I think this is the best college. I could have went anywhere, but I wanted to come here.
I think this is the best answer I ever heard.
Well, okay, good. I was hoping for that answer. I'm glad. I'm glad I heard it.
The second question is, what was your first impression of Bhutan when you arrived here? Anything that surprised you or stood right away?
Yeah. Before I came here, I was in the U.S. working, and the job I worked, it was very like it was only guys and stuff like this, and just fixing machinery and whatnot. When I finally interacted with the first Bhutanese person ever, I was in Delhi airport. I was getting on the plane, and let me tell you what, the air hostess, yeah, she was really jarring. That was my first impression, 100%. And I knew that my stay in this country was going to be auspicious because in the U.S., very boring. There was nothing going on. I just worked, right? I was in the airport, Delhi, everything normal. And then the first thing I seen, very beautiful imagery of the country, and everything since has been always the same level of goodness, with some varying degrees. It has ups and downs, but there's higher trials and there are depths.
The next question is, what are some differences you have noticed between studying here and studying back home?
Okay. So I can go at length on this one here. So I'd say it's completely different. There's nothing similar. In college in the United States, or maybe almost any other international college, you only take a couple class hours per week. Like in the US, I was only taking 15. Like now, as life science, I have 27 just weekly. I'm saying weekly. So the class hours are very much reduced. You might only have one, two class hours in a day, right? Here we have seven, eight. So the brain just goes, by third class, you're thinking of something else. Um, the other thing is they give a lot more independence. Like we don't have, there's no curfews. You do whatever you want. Um, another thing, that's probably another big one. Attendance. Attendance is another thing. I was really surprised coming here with the attendance. I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying this is the difference only, right? Don't expel me or anything. But attendance here, it's like you have to be above 90%. In your case, 80, right? Yeah, you're special. But something like this, 90, 80%. In the US, you don't have to go to class at all. I could go through the whole semester and not go to class. Doesn't matter. They don't count attendance. So coming here kind of reminded me of a lot of ways like high school. And so because in high school in the US it's like this. I studied in a different college in Mongolia. They also had similar structure to the US. So I think there's a lot of bigger differences. Those are probably the most prominent. Probably.
The next question is, as an international student, how would you think you can contribute to ShepC? Maybe through your culture, ideas, or talents?
Mm, well, you know, there was a great warrior sage. His name was Miyamoto Musashi, and he made this treatise called Dokoro. It's just a paper. It's just like 21 precepts, like ideas for living your life. And one of the precepts was you should uh, think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world, right? I don't think that I'm so special that I can really change a lot of things. So of course I'm different, right? It's obvious, and as much as obvious. But we have to learn together. I don't think I bring anything special to the table. I don't want to say I can do this, because I'm more independent or because I'm older or something like this. I think ultimately we're all kind of the same. We have some varying ideas, but I don't think me myself can be a major instrument of change in this college. I've already been here, and I was FINA, and so the college is still the same as it was when I got here. So I mean, it would only be hopeful thinking. So in my mind, I just think, I'll just be around for the ride. The Japanese, they have a saying on top of this. I know I keep saying parables, but the nail that sticks up gets hammered down. I'm not here to kind of change the way you guys think. I'm sure you guys are good at that on your own. I'm just here to, be along for the ride and learn from you guys more than the other way around. I don't want to tell you guys how to live your life. I'm sure you guys are happy as you are. Yeah.
Question is, what Buddhist custom or values have you found most meaningful?
So I really like how this place is its religious sphere is very much intertwined with its social sphere. And what I mean by that is, like, for example, in the West, they have a predominant religion, like Christianity exists there. Other places maybe Islam or something. Like in the US, Christianity is there, but it's not really woven into the fabric of everyday life. It's separate. And it is enshrined in our political system where no a separation of church and state. Here it's really blended, and I actually find that really unique. I really like history and I really like religion. Vajrayana, Islam, anything. I like it all. And so every single day, you can see Gelongs walking around. They're doing their thing. People here are going to Chokorling. They're going to Chokortsi. They're doing all these interesting things. In the morning they're doing, like Kora or their, prostrations like Chatse and all this. And I really like that. It's just normal. If you're doing like this in the US, they might give you side eye. Maybe, not always. But like here it's just so normalized. If you see monks walking around in America, like Christian monks even, you're like, whoa, here you see Gelong, it's like seeing anybody. So I really like that, all the way up to the highest level. Some people might say that it's not ideal, but for me, I very much enjoy that. I like to see that as a part of everyday life. Religion is important, you know, as a social framework to bring people together, whether it's Buddhism or something else. So I like that the most. That's the most uh, fitting cultural thing that I appreciate personally.
Have you learned any local words, phrases, or tradition that you have enjoyed or found funny?
Don't put this in, but like I say like Kencho Sungi Donpa. I like saying like this, but I don't know if that's funny. I don't even know if that's appropriate. Can you say like this? Is it normal to say?
Can you
Like
say
Kencho
that?
Sungi Donpa. Like I
Kencho
swear to
Sungi
God.
Donpa.
Yeah, like I swear to God. Kencho Sungi Donpa.
That means you're.
Yeah, don't put this in. Don't put this in. I don't know if it's bad or not. Like like for example, like if like say I steal your shoes, right? I don't steal your shoes, but in this case, and you're like, ah, who took my shoes? You take my shoes? Like I know, I swear, I didn't take it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Right? I'll be like, ah, kencho sungi donpa, mabai. I don't know if that's the right pronunciation, but I say I didn't do it. Kencho sungi donpa. I don't know if that's funny. That's what I mean. You said funny, so
No.
that's more like tragic, scared. I'm being accused. I got my hands up. If I had to say, that's why I said don't edit this in. I mean, yeah, you put it in if you want. You put it in if you want. I really like the phrase. My favorite phrase is dumyogi dumyo. And sometimes I feel like, usually, this is why it might be fun. Because sometimes we do have to laugh about our dumyo, right? And the dumyo that I get when I have to say dumyogi dumyo, it's always under some sort of thing where we can all laugh about it. Like if something bad happens, but it's not that bad. Like I don't get my leg blown off, nothing like this. Like something normal, like, you know, our lecturer has an assignment and I forget it. And then I go outside and like I drop my wallet. No big deal. It's dumyogi dumyo, right? I get like this. And then we all laugh about it. And it's fine. I like using that. Every time I use that phrase in a good situation that's bad, because dumyo and gao, it's the same thing. Same duality. That always is always good. Always a good time. So I like that phrase. It's funny, but not funny.
Can you say some phrases in Zonka?
Dumyogi dumyo.
No, something.
A different phrase. Different phrase. All right. I know one phrase. I know one phrase, but I don't know if I can get it all in one take. I don't know if I get it in one take. I'll try it. I'll try it. So, what's your name? Okay, Sonchogi, Sonchogi. I'm gonna use you as an example, so don't run out after I said it. Okay? All right. I gotta make sure I keep my face on. So, sono chira garuga the maga nga lapni yemidi lapra lap go. I love you. Like this. I learned this phrase. Someone in my class taught me. It's the only phrase I know in Zonka. That's long. So don't flame me for it. Don't flame me for it.
Okay, that's a movie phrase.
Is it movie phrase? Okay.
The next question is, adjusting to a new country isn't always easy, right?
Mm.
What's been the biggest challenge for you and how did you handle it?
Oh, yeah. This is a good question. This is a good question. Let me get some water here before I answer this. It's a hard question. Cheers, if you may. Yeah, okay. So the biggest challenge I think as a foreigner is like a disassociation between like identities and ideologies. It's the same for any foreigner, right? Uh like the way that I feel like I think on a daily basis is very much a disconnect from how other people think. So the problem is like just the fundamental problem is kind of like a sense of loneliness, right? I mean, everyone is nice. I'm not saying people are bad or bully. I'm not like everyone is too nice, even too nice. But when you don't have that really deep connection with most people, like on a fundamental level, you know, then sometimes you can feel like that disconnect. And the way that I personally, and I say this, like not all foreigners will share my experience because all foreigners will be different. Even Americans, doesn't matter. It just only this is specific to my case. But in my situation to deal with that, I really kind of hyper fixated on this Nyage competition. Sometimes I think, you know, if I'm doing this, then it distract me from any other thing. Like I have maybe some obsessive compulsive with this Nyage competition. That's how I get through it. I think I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychologist, but I heard that sometimes people are doing like this when they have some sort of like community disconnect. They get really obsessive about something. In my case, it was not something bad. It was Nyage. So okay. I don't mind if they let me compete and I have the chance of winning. That'll be good for me. That'll be Bawa. So that's my somewhat, you know, general answer to that.
Oh, what's one lesson you have learned from living and studying in a different culture?
Okay. One lesson that I learned that if you really want to be successful on an international stage, the one thing I think you learn in general is that, like I said, people have really different ideologies on the fundamental level. Maybe I could just give like some example. Like in the US, our society has this kind of general idea that, you know, you should be able to defend yourself or to be prepared in the case of something bad happening. There's a saying they say, uh, better to be judged by six than carried by 12. It's not like a super formal phrase, but it's the idea that it's better to be prepared for a bad case scenario than to not be prepared. And then that scenario comes and you're not ready and then you're finished. And people here, I don't feel like they have that kind of ideology. They're thinking more like, either things won't happen or like I had just a religious, like a somewhat debate with Gelongs, just maybe a couple weeks ago about this kind of same thing. And I was saying, well, what if someone came into a room and they were shooting everybody and like, could you use force to stop them? Not necessarily kill them, but to like stop them. And they're like, no, we just ask them to stop. We can't do anything like that. And so like these fundamental disconnects, not that one specific, but just all of them start to add up and you think, wow, we're really different. And so in regards to that question, we have to understand that, we're not all coming from the same fundamental level. In the US, we have this level. It's kind of agreed upon. Loosely, you guys all agree on fundamental things. But so we have to accept that you guys are different and try to use that as an opportunity for us to come together. We're different. And because we're different, well, maybe it actually will help us better because we can analyze both ideas from each other and we can blend it in a beneficial way, just in general. And so that's probably the greatest lesson. People in Chechnya are going to be different from here, surely. U.S. going to be different from here, surely. If how do you get all of them in a room to agree on something? You have to agree to disagree and see it as a fusion of thoughts in a positive way. It's not easy to do. I mean, what I'm saying is very general, right? But the concept, at least, I'm trying to highlight.
And the final question is, what message would you like to share with Buddhist student or other international student who might want to study here?
College life only lasts a finite amount of time. And oftentimes after college, life gets more difficult because I'm coming into college later. I've been to college already, I've gotten out of college, and vice versa. I've been doing like this. This is the perfect time for either a Bhutanese student, an international student, to be able to come here, you know, to study, but moreover, really fixate on what your priorities are in life and really use these 3 years or 4 years if you're statistics to really work on that and grow yourself in a positive way, right? Like if you're really interested in fitness or health, really working on that. Or if you're really interested in doing anything, you want to be an athlete, you want to be an astronaut, it don't matter. These 3 years, you can really use them in a positive way. Not all life here is about studying only, right? It's not always about, you know, what's the next thing, always like this. If we ground ourselves right in this 3 year block where we have a reasonably comfortable existence, after 3 years we can really shape ourselves into the person we really want to be. I seen this person talk one time, and he said something along the lines of, we have to see ourselves as the person we already want to be. And if we're in a difficult situation somewhere in life, it's going to be less easy to do that. But here, this is really the prime, this is the right time to be having that mindset and growing yourself, because you can really, I truly believe this. You can really transform yourself in 3 years, depending on what you want to do. And this is the perfect place to do that. There's all kinds of people here with all kinds of different beliefs. There's resources here that there might not be in other places, even if we're talking from an international perspective. Like if some foreign students are interested in Buddhism, for example, they might not have that kind of opportunity in like the US or Germany, but they can come here and do that, and they can lock in on Nangpiche, right? Perfect place to lock in. That's my honest opinion and my honest recommendation. Not spending it necessarily just doing things that are fun. Partying is fine, I guess, once in a while. Doing this, maybe drinking casually once in a while. Not against that. But really understanding your plan, your overall plan, and then trying to implement that here. It'll set you so far ahead because the people here are younger than me, and I wish I did that. I wish I had that frame of mind when I was 18, 19, 20, because I think by now, higher. I think not always, but I think this is a good kind of mindset to have.
Thank you so much, Mr. Brandon, for sharing your story and experience with us.
My pleasure.
It's always refreshing to hear how Sherubtse looks through the eye of an international student, and your thoughts about contributing to Bhutan. It's really inspiring. To our listener, thank you for tuning into ShareCode Spotlight. If you like this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell us in the comments what you like most about the college life at Sherubtse. Until next time, this is ShareCode Spotlight. Stay curious and see you in the next episode. Yala yon pula giulu mala da shigang gita lupala da mitse gidongo gawi shi tsilo da cha